No, maybe if you put it up here, because it's just...
Oh, I see, because it's like on my boobs.
Yeah, you'd have to go...
How's that?
Oh, wait.
Is that right?
Wait, would it go further away to get your...
Alright, no, just need my... Gosh, struggling
It's all boobs. Yeah. Wait, there, I think I can kind of see it.
That's about right. I've done enough.
Okay.
Okay, so you and I met...
Yeah.
A weekish ago to start the protocol.
Yeah, 9-10 days.
So this is your first kind of check-in. First let's talk about, not weighing.
Yeah, I would say that the not weighing at times was as equally tough as following, the eating protocol. I found myself having probably a little bit of an easier time following the eating protocol than not weighing.
Yeah, that's your reward.
Exactly, and then reading. I've gone through most of the book now, and then reading where you talk about, that's the reward. So I tried to change my thinking of like, okay, I'm not doing this. This is not about the weight loss. It's about me getting healthy. I signed up for a 5K. Which I swore I would rather get a root canal and a nipple piercing at the same time than ever do a 5K. Yeah. But this one has to do with being chased by zombies for 3 miles. Yeah. It's fun.
That does sound fun.
Yeah, and I actually wanted to go to the gym. And I'm not normally someone who works out because I wanted to train for the 5K and see where I was at. It has never occurred to me in my 41 years that exercise should be done to be like, to be able to run.
Yeah, for health?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been like prostituted as weight loss. So if you're not losing weight, then there's no use for exercise, right?
Exactly my mentality.
When you see that from afar, is that not so shallow? And it ruins how healing exercise is. Exercise prevents cancer. It improves sex drive. It keeps your reaction time fast. Sleeping patterns better. Obviously, the type of exercise really affects everything differently, but man, when you use it for exercise, you're not even considering any of those healing and preventative, things. So it's all about calories. So the only thing you do is what can burn the most calories in the shortest period of time. Yeah. And then you're irrational and you start thinking more is better and you end up being inflamed and gaining weight and being, I'm obviously taking it to the extreme. Yeah. People who are extremists have depression and sleep disorders and all sorts of issues from overexercise. But anyhow.
Yeah, and I didn't. I even went on the treadmill, which I normally, if I am at the gym, I avoid like the plague because I wanted to see if I had to do the 5K tomorrow, where would I be at? I want a base point. How long will it take me to do 3 miles? Yeah. It took me 45 minutes and 44 seconds. I probably ran for 5 minutes of the whole thing. Just
that's still great.
Past. I know, not shin splints for 2 days.
Oh, I believe
But I was like, okay, and I want to be able to run a mile without stopping by the end of March and 2 miles by April and so on. So I'm so excited about that. I'm like, yeah, I gotta, kind of stretch and heal up because I want to get on and, and try it again. Yeah. And I've never, except for when I was in high school and I ran track, I was a sprinter.
So would you say that without weighing, it's changed the way you think about exercise?
Yeah. It didn't, like I said, it never occurred to me that I would exercise not to lose weight. It's bizarre. But what's interesting is when it clicked, it clicks.
Yeah, it does. It's instant, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, totally different way of thinking about it, and you'll never revert.
Yeah. And then I got it. And then I'm like, oh my God. And I get the thing with the scale. It doesn't matter because I'm training to do a 5K,
Yeah, and the goal, this goes back to my chapter 1 of Weight Loss Apocalypse, which is, the entire weight loss apocalypse, which is, can you choose to eat less because you want to, not because you're entitled to reward. Like you're being deprived. Yeah. That's the thing where when people weigh or feel like they're entitled to some reward, that's a sign that they're giving something up that they don't necessarily want to. That they're like, it's almost like Lent. When you look at that, it's like this truly is not a temporary thing that I'm trying to teach you. Obviously the very low calorie protocol is temporary. Yeah. This is a healing protocol. This is not the way we want you to the type of food we want you to eat forever, and the limitation wouldn't be appropriate without the low dose HCG, but the idea behind only eating with hunger and only enough for hunger to go away is something that we want you to find desire for.
Yeah.
Because if you wanted to do that, would you need a reward?
Yeah. And before I would have said, well, no, I would need some reward for it. But now I'm getting it, and I've tried to, I've gone out. I went to 2 different galas.
Oh, you did get it. You got it. It went bling. Oh, this makes total sense.
Yeah, I went and I couldn't believe it because, it was dinner included, and it was filet mignon and risotto and cod and a salad. So I did the salad part with some
Did you eat the
lemon.
Filet? You didn't have the filet mignon.
Oh, really?
No, well, it was probably seared, so one of the things I would have had to do is just just eat the center.
Yeah, I did. I had some of the cod. Okay. And then I thought, okay, I don't totally know how this is cooked. But then when I started thinking it, I realized I'm not hungry anymore.
Good job!
So it didn't matter, I hit the vegetables first. I was hitting the broccoli, and then I couldn't believe it. And I'm like, so what I did was, because one of my big concerns when I started this was, I do so much socially. How is this going to affect, me going to these events or lunch or things out like that? And it hasn't. I pushed that food. I cut up the steak. I put all over my plate for the whole time. No one noticed a thing.
I love it. Yeah. You are kicking butt. And that's the thing. Once you make the decision, it's like, well, whatever it takes, I'll get it done.
Yeah.
It's like quitting smoking. It's like choosing to finally get divorced. It's like any time that you've made an abrupt shift in your life, it doesn't matter what the type of work involves, it's worth it because you're so done.
Yeah.
You really jumped off the cliff.
Yeah, I know. And even the drinking. I had sparkling water, and I walked around, and it was like, why was I so concerned about this? I danced sober for the first time in my adult life.
And it was probably like being a kid again.
Yeah, it was fun. I didn't care. That was the thing too. It's like, wow, I was really getting all worked up about, kind of nothing. No one's paying any attention to what I'm eating, what I'm drinking, what I'm doing.
No, they don't care.
They don't care. They're just there having fun. And even if someone did care, it's like, so what? Why do I care so much about what they think?
And if they cared about what you were doing, that means that they think it's your job to make them feel better about themselves. And is that the type of person that you want to accommodate to? Is that the type of person you want to attract?
Yeah, exactly.
To you, because that's the type of person who has a codependent way of thinking.
Yeah.
Which is a nightmare.
And I've continued, I have lunch with my sister probably 3-4 times a week at the same place. And I bring my food. I bring my chicken, and then I say, can I get 2 cups of spinach? And they do it. Or can I get 1 cup? And, and they do it. Because I don't want to give up that time with her, and I haven't had to.
No, because it's about her. It's not about the food.
And when, the server brings over the desserts, and they're like, oh, that's right, you can't have any. And I say, you know what? I actually can. I choose not to have any.
Yeah, and it's, obviously with this protocol, we're trying to teach you, that food is not as important as you thought it was.
Yeah, it's not as exciting too. Like when I started eating for, as you call it, functionality, eating for that, then I realized how many times I ate and things I ate that I didn't even really want, that I didn't really need, because I was eating for an emotional reason. I was eating to fill something or to feel something, because I liked how banana cream pie made me feel for a while. It was my drug of choice. Yeah,
and it does affect you physically, but a lot of times it's just the freedom to choose to eat it people like. They don't want to be restricted. So if you're restricted or having confrontation or conflict on one side, you're going to seek liberty on another side, and usually that's what that's when people say, well, I don't feel guilty about eating. It's like, well, because that's your compensation for feeling something else that's negative. There's so many ways to explain this in so many different angles, but this is where this time is for you to learn that about yourself and why it made sense, why you were choosing that. But the funny thing is that when you say how much crap you were eating that you really didn't want, you really didn't need, and it was all because you were avoiding a feeling, ultimately that feeling that you were avoiding ends up getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And for you to avoid it, you have to make the compensation has to get bigger and bigger. And so that's when we become addicted. Yeah. It's the compensatory way we get rid of the feeling we don't like, or to create the feeling we want.
Yeah. I was doing a lot of journaling kind of as I went, because I would have these kind of epiphanies. I'm like, oh my God, where did that come from? And I'd start write. I write. That's my thing. And so I start writing, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I saw my sister the other day, and I told her, I said, I don't even know if you're aware how many times growing up I got attention and was validated because I finished your food. My food, then I finished your food. Give it to Natalie. Give it to your sister. She'll eat it.
And you almost felt like you were accomplishing something. And
look what I did. And it didn't affect me weight-wise then, because, I lived on an island, ran around barefoot all the time.
Yeah.
I was very, very active.
And you're probably hungry 20 minutes later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would go out to lunch with my sister.
So the behavior was wrong. The physiology of the time matched, but the behavior was in place.
Yeah.
So that when the physiology didn't match, you were setting yourself up for a weight growth.
Yeah. So I was sitting there with her the other day, and she ordered a dessert. It's like I totally had this, I felt compelled to finish Lana's food. And I went, wait, where's that coming from? Almost like this voice in my head. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I could see all those times.
That feeling came from your brain, by the way. It's like brain memory.
Yeah.
And it's a reaction. It's like the Pavlov dog response.
Yeah. Yeah.
That actually occurred. It was biochemical.
Yeah.
And you caught it. You actually recognized it. Yeah. You actually get that urge. The mouth probably watered. You probably had this moment of like, I have to finish it.
I can't let her finish. I can't let her not finish.
Yeah, real physical results from that. But being consciously aware of that unconscious response, because it is unconscious. It reacts to the conscious, visualization and reaction to that.
And then you justify why you're doing it to make it make sense in the real world.
Correct, because intellectually it doesn't make sense, but biochemically you're getting the feeling.
Yeah.
So you're getting kind of a conflict of actual consciousness and subconsciousness.
Yeah, because I don't do it with anyone else. I go out with friends. I don't feel compelled to finish their dessert.
But it was hers.
But when it comes to my sister, I have to eat it.
So isn't this, it's all a byproduct of focusing on hunger. The platform and the base and the foundation is identifying true physical hunger and recognize when you're not the impulses to eat without it. So you see how it's so important during this time right now that you become the expert of the body. Removed of the emotion. And
I think the workbook really helps because you have to write down. At first I thought, oh, what a pain in the ass.
It is a pain in the butt, like calories. But you're observing, so it's kind of like, don't you want to know what your body's saying?
Now I want to know.
Because it's not a control. The daily log I have in that workbook has nothing to do with control. All diets, when they have a daily log, it's controlled. You're going to write the time you're going to eat, you're going to write down the calories you're choosing to eat, and the food. This is completely opposite. It is, you write the time your body got hungry, you rate your hunger at that time, you choose the food you're going to eat, and then you stop when the body says at 5.5, and you need to log that down. So then when you look at the day, it's like you're looking at the body's control, not yours.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
I also realized in doing it that I was mistaking the feeling of digesting for hunger.
That's common.
Yeah, I thought
the growling,
when that starts feeling, or not even to the growling, like I could feel like this tingling kindness, and kindness is now a word, but this thing, and I'm like, oh, is that hunger? And I'm like, no. And the key word for me was urgency.
Yeah, I write that very carefully.
Over and over and over again, which is, I had to read it 100 times before I went, oh.
It's not that. It's a sense of urge, like it's impending. There's something, it's like, and the funny thing is every time I get, for me, to like a 3, it's like I feel, and I've kind of tried to define it, it feels like I'm going to die in 5 minutes. Yeah. So it becomes something you're willing.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is the research with people who are being starved or water depleted more than anything is that humans become very dangerous within 48 hours. Like really dangerous.
Yeah.
Because of that impending death.
Well, it's a drive. It's a natural.
Yeah, it's like drive. It is emergency. It's emergent.
Yeah, and I've been blown away by how not hungry I was, or how little it took to remove hunger. So I can see, I knew immediately the HCG was working.
Yeah.
Because there's a certain amount of the things I was overeating, but what I would think before is what I would eat to feel. Well, I would never stop at being not hungry. I always ate till I was full. Or till it was gone.
Yeah.
And so I'm going, oh my gosh, I always thought I was a big eater. I always thought I was hungry all the time. I always thought that's just how I was, and I'm going, that is such bullshit.
It's byproduct of
not
culture.
a big eater. Yeah, and it's no wonder. And even the going out, and this is where the journaling for me was so key, because I was writing, and then I would ask myself questions. Why don't I split a meal with my husband? He's always asking me to, and I've always said, oh, it's because we're not eating the same thing.
Is he functional?
Functional.
Meaning he pretty much only eats when he's hungry and he stops when he's not hungry anymore.
No, he eats more.
Okay, so he would ask to split because of the diet?
No.
I see.
He wasn't as bad as I was.
I see.
But there's still, but yeah, he'd be like, this is going to be too much food for us, you want to split something. And I would always say, no, I want my own. No, I want my own.
So has he changed, has he using his hunger at all? Have you
he's starting to and I've asked him, are you hungry?
Yeah.
And then he'll say, yeah, actually I am.
I do that with my kids. Okay. I never make them feel bad about eating or even the choice, because there's prioritization to choice at different times, but it's always don't eat if you're not hungry, and make sure you avoid being full. And when they do get full, I love to talk to them about it. I'm like, how miserable do you feel?
Yeah.
Can you tell how hot you are?
Yeah.
Like getting them to observe how just miserable.
Yeah, exactly.
It's great. It's perfect.
What I realized, though, is the reason I never wanted to split a meal in a restaurant is because, and this is totally true and it sounds horrible, because I thought then the wait staff would think I was cheap or I didn't have any money, and that's why we were doing it.
Oh, that is so ego-driven.
I know!
So is that something, think about, make the connection to where that was taught to you. Is that a parental thing or a friend thing or a grandma thing, grandpa? I mean, where was that? You don't want to seem cheap. Was that a past spouse? I mean, what was it?
I can recall a specific incident when I was with my mom in a restaurant, and I was an adult, young adult though. I think I had to have been 18 or so. Well, as much as an adult that is.
That's a kid.
Yeah.
A kid at 18.
And she had to watch the amount of meat she ate because she had a kidney thing.
Mm-hmm.
I took eyelash in my eye. Anyway, she ordered a burger. It was a nice restaurant. And she said, can I get half the amount of meat that you use? Because she's on the special diet. And the waiter says to her, it's not going to be any cheaper. And my mom, of course, is like, I didn't ask if it was going to be cheaper.
Yeah.
I told you I wanted less meat because I am on a special diet, because she can only eat a certain amount of protein because of her kidney issues.
Okay, so just real quick on the side note, I'm sorry to say this, but what does that tell you about the waiter or waitress?
Yeah.
That the only way they could conceive that anybody would want less meat is because they're afraid of the price. So that waiter was afraid of their own price.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just so funny how we all assume everybody thinks the same way.
Yeah. And now I
think that it's about that.
Yeah, and it's so stupid because I'm like, but I know it's at places where I don't know the wait staff. Like, I like to go to some places the same. And I have no problem splitting something there because I know them, they know me. It's like family, because we spend a lot of time there. My family has spent time there. It's where I don't know. I don't know.
You worry about their perception of how much money you have?
Then I'm like, what do I care?
Yeah.
You know what this guy thinks? It's like, and then I realized I was judging people that way. When I went on a trip a year or so ago, we had, a couple in our family who were splitting. And that's what I thought. Oh my gosh, I wonder if they're having money problems. We are served way too much food in every restaurant, pretty much.
Oh, absolutely.
It's way too much.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you split it? It's so stupid. Now I'm just like... But it's like when you spot it, it removes that feeling. Because then I'm like, oh, and I told my husband, and he's like, oh my God, really? I'm like, yeah. I wasn't sitting there consciously thinking, oh no, we're not going to share because, Joe the waiter here is going to think I'm a cheap ass. It just was right underneath the surface.
Well, and that just is a sign of your insecurity. You care about other people's perception of you, and it's a losing battle.
I know, and I never thought that I did, and it's so stupid because the joke, it's like, we don't have a lot of money.
Yeah. So why would we fake that we have tons of money?
Yeah.
And if you are creating the perception, this is where you attract people who are like that. If you really care about the way people perceive how much money you have, you're attracting people who actually are attracted to how much money you have.
Mm-hmm. And it's so stupid. Because
totally.
It's a repeating thing I notice with people I don't know. Because with my friends, I'm like, I drove the same car for 13 years.
Because you're secure in that relationship.
Yeah,
you know that they like you and they like who you are. And then so with other people, the thing is you have to be willing to be yourself and expect to be rejected.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and the people who are going to reject you are the people who have insecure problems.
Yeah.
You know, it's like me and, you know, when I wrote the book, you know, my hair, and I don't always wear makeup, and I'm kind of, you know, hippie-ish. And my editor of the book was like, Robin, we've got to get a new picture for your book. Yeah. And I'm like, well, this is the real deal.
Yeah.
You know? And she's like, you look like a cheerleader in high school. And you have to be taken credible. This is a scientific book. This is really deep conversation. This is a heavy, heavy read, blah, blah, blah. And so she's like, you need to look like you're older. You need to have like earrings, and you need to have your hair up. Mm-hmm. And where's my book? If you look at the back picture, you're going to go, I have never seen Robin look like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
When my daughter, my 10-year-old, saw that picture, she looked at me and she goes, this is a lie, Mom. Mm-hmm. And I go, I know, that's totally not how I look, is it? But anyhow, I look real professional in that book.
But for some people to accept it, you know,
it's the most judgmental and critical that will accept that. So I'm accommodating to the most, what's the word, addicted people, the most insecure people, by having to put a facade on so that they would accept me. Yeah. Which totally goes against what I teach. Yeah. But, you know, when I wrote it, I was like, I did everything the editor told me, which was amazing. Connie Anderson, she's awesome. But anyhow.
But then you're appealing to your demographic. I can see you almost have to do that to get your foot in the door.
Oh, especially with older women, because I'm in my 30s and I'm talking about menopause. You know, and YHCG, which I didn't go into detail, but menopausal women, I'm telling you, this is a fabulous supplement to anything for menopausal women. It's a whole other, I mean, there's just so much research to be done. So I'm digressing again. But
but I do like the whole rebooting your hormones and all that. And, you know, I've dealt with the thyroid issue on and off. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, it makes so sense. So much, you know.
Yeah, well, your fat is the regulating organ of the entire endocrine system. It is the base of the rhythm of the endocrine system. And it's from leptin. Yeah. You know, it is honestly, everybody comes in here and says, I've got an issue. And the first thing I do is search engine leptin and the issue. Yeah. Because there's still so much research. You know, one of the things that I think it's really important for everybody to understand is a lot of the books that were written about leptin are outdated. Because of how much we've learned about negative feedback loops. You know, what we thought originally was that, you know, lots of leptin would burn more fat, and now we're finding that, well, having lots of leptin and burning all this fat isn't necessarily ideal, because you have to combust it, and there's all sorts of stuff. And then not getting too little leptin, because that's starvation. I mean, there's just so much, but like I said, every year it's like there's thousands of studies on leptin alone in all the disease in the United States. And so to me, to keep it simple, it's like, why make this so difficult? Why have to get your blood tested every freaking day when you can just listen to hunger, listen to all of your body's rhythms? Yeah,
exactly. You know? And learn to differentiate, I think, was kind of the thing that I really got out of the book, between physical hunger, you know, desire, and emotional need, and you know, and then not eating,
and like cravings too.
And then having just the cravings, and then going, you know, when I was at lunch with my sister, she ordered peanut butter pie, which is like one of my favorites, and I said, let me look at it, and I picked it up.
Oh, you are so kicking ass with this method.
I wanted to see what is it. So, and I had already eaten. I had brought my sea bass and asparagus with me, and ate it, and I was done, and I looked at it, and I smelled it, and I'm like, yeah, this was like my favorite. And they give some huge pieces of pie. And I would order my own, because I want the whole thing. And I look at it, so I'm smelling this, and I'm going, yeah, it's really good. So I'm like, okay, if I were eating this right now, what would I do? I'm not real hungry. I would say I had no major urgency.
Oh, I see. Like if you're not on the protocol.
Yeah.
Oh, you are so doing this right.
Yeah. And
you are the easiest patient I've ever had. It's like you read the book and it went hardwired.
I think I was ready with the key. It was good timing.
That's the key. It's like you gotta be at the bottom. That's the desperation I talk about. Exactly. Where you are so desperate that you will. I could have told you to keep your morning pee and rub it all over your body, and you would have done it.
Yeah, I would have done it. But I thought to myself, I really probably would have 1 or 2 bites. Oh, this is really good. Oh, but I'm full. Now I'm like 5.5. I was 4.75 before. This is going to push me over. And I would have put it down. And I watched my skinny sister, who's always been a 4'6", our entire adult lives. Uh-huh. And I've been everything from a 4 to an 18. Mm-hmm. And I'm watching her. She takes a couple bites. She's like, "Can I get a box?"
Oh, she's so functional still. No wonder. She always has
done that. And I asked her, I said, "So you're going to take it home, and then are you going to eat it when you watch TV tonight?" Because that's what I would do. If I took it home, I'd be in my room adding more peanut butter to that mother. Yeah. With the door shut, gorging myself with this whole piece. She goes, "No." She goes, "It'll take me 3 days to eat this." Okay. I said,